The moment you've all been waiting for.
You what?
Well, that hit the spot.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Gosscast with myself, Ali Ryan, and Kendra Becker.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. The weather's a bit shite, but
You know what? I've been doing all my meetings here, and the first one this morning, the sun was like beaming in, and it was like lovely. And then I had to mute it because it started hailstoning.
yeah, it was hailstoning around me as well. I was like, what the fuck?
I love how as soon as the government are like, you know what, we're going to open up the country, Mother Nature's like,
I know. So cruel. So
harsh. Did you watch the Oscars in the end? Did you watch any of it?
I did. I watched like some clips. I didn't watch the full thing.
Me neither.
Yeah, there was a mixed reaction, wasn't it?
The whole thing.
Yeah, and I think they recorded like the lowest ratings like ever. So
really, it definitely wasn't the same this year in general, but I feel like the buzz wasn't the same because so many movies didn't get to actually be a part of the Oscars this year, and like really big celebrities who were normally part of it weren't. I don't know, and even like Anthony Hopkins wasn't there. He won Best Actor and he didn't go, but I don't know if I would have gone. They were kind of like, don't wear your mask, you're grand.
Yeah, it was a weird one, and I think they actually got like a bit of backlash for that for doing it that way. And as well, I saw a thing, apparently they didn't even allow Anthony Hopkins to do like a Zoom speech.
Yeah, they said no one was allowed to do Zoom speeches.
Which is so bizarre. Like,
that's denied, like, no.
Also, like, Anthony Hopkins is like obviously an older man. Like,
why is it Sir Anthony Hopkins? See, Sir?
I feel like he is, yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing was weird. They still had no host. I just don't think the buzz was the same. I was very forlorn, I won't lie, on Sunday night. I just couldn't even watch the red carpet. I was just like,
yeah,
my first year in so long not being there. I just didn't even want to know about it. I shut the blinds, I went to sleep. I was like, good luck. I was very sad. So yeah, Oscars definitely wasn't as exciting as it normally is. Can we take a moment also for the fact my hair is up? This needs to be.
I know, what a shock. Me and you are like, we always have our hair down. It's like our thing.
Always. Like, I basically tanned, so I threw my hair up, and then I was like, will I like put my hair down? And I was like, no. So here we are. And I said to Kendra before we started, I was like, it looks like I'm going to a business meeting or a funeral. I don't know.
Either way. But like, can we take a moment for hairdressers reopening next month in May? Like, thank God, guys, I have not had my hair done in 6 months. Can I just say?
Oh, light though. I'm so jealous. It always looks done.
It's bad.
But it looks like a normal. That looks like your hair is done. Or black, like black as this top. Like they're not. I'm excited, and I'm excited to like get extensions at some point. I don't know if I'm gonna get this right away, but I want like extensions in my hair. But it's funny because obviously the leaks started coming out from journalists and stuff this weekend, and they were like, May 4th, the amount of salons that got on to me, and they were like, what's going on? It's bank holiday weekend. We're not gonna be ready for May 4th because that's like the day after the bank holiday.
Yeah, I know.
I got on to some of the TV journalists and I was like, lads, when is it actually? This is yesterday. And they were like, no, it's going to be the 10th. So I had to revert back to all these salons being like, guys, you're grand. But I honestly think that could be more exciting than like outdoor dining opening, the fact that we're going to get to get our hair done.
I feel like I'm going to feel like a completely different person when I actually get my hair done.
And like, I'm excited to get like nails, facial. I don't know if I'll get a facial because that's like your mask is totally off. That freaks me out. But I really want to get a massage, like a full body massage, mask on, face down, just like good night. Like I need one. One. I'm so excited for that. And then retail, like that's opening soon as well. Like I feel like I just feel like we're at the end. And I saw one of the journalists yesterday from Irish Independent, and they tweeted something like, lads, they really are lifting everything this time. Like I feel like we're actually,
I know,
like finish this. I was actually some of my friends yesterday, and people were like, I'm actually not ready for it to all be open. Like,
oh, it's kind of scary.
I want to wax, I want to do my hair, I want to buy a new wardrobe. Like we're going to be like, it's like the beginning of Bridgerton where they're introduced into society and everyone's looking at you in the room. I feel like that's
introduced in the ton, as they say.
Like we'll have to be like reintroduced into society again, like what we actually look like beneath like our tummies. That's all we see is like shoulders and face on Zoom. Like so many people haven't seen each other like in real life.
No, it's insane. Like, I'm like, one of the things I actually just can't wait for, because I actually hate online shopping. I know some people love it, but I actually hate it because I have to try things on. It's like a thing. And I just can't wait to actually like go into a shop and be able to fully browse, try things on. I'm living for that.
Retail opened during the summer. I didn't try anything on then, but at that point it was like the numbers were still really, really bad. I still wasn't vaccinated, so I didn't really want to go inside. But now I'm like, okay, I'm vaccinated, the numbers are low. I would like the amount of online shopping I got. I'm looking to my wardrobe room, so I'm like, there's stuff in there. Like I never return stuff I don't want, and that it's costing me money. Like,
no, I know that's the thing, and loads of places have actually started. ASOS is pretty good. They actually include the like sticker thing but other places you have to like print it off, and it's this whole like ordeal, and then you just end up with a mountain of shit that you don't want in your room. Like,
it's so annoying. No, you're dead right. I do miss like you know what I miss?
Pennies. I'm gonna go into Pennies and spend about $6,000. Like, I can't wait.
To be on underwear like in pajamas.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, $6,000. No, honestly.
No, like that happens. You go and you're like, right, I need a pair of knickers and like socks. And then you go to and they're like, boop, boop, boop. That'll be €350. You're like, oh my God.
But in fairness, you do. That always happens to me around Christmas. I'll get a few presents and a few things for myself. And it's like, boop, boop. That'll be 412. And I'm like, oh God.
And I'm like, sorry?
You need to get 500 things for like €25. So like, oh, I can't wait. The Primark have been kind of teasing some of their stuff on their Instagram. I don't know if you've seen that, of like stuff that's going to be in store when they open. And I'm like, yes. I don't mind online shopping and other things like Zara, for example, right? I actually hate shopping in Zara in real life, but I find online totally fine. I've been buying tops in particular. I'm the same size and everything. They're all like work shirts. They've all arrived perfectly. The thoughts of going back into a Zara queue now, I don't know about that. Every time I even look at Zara, 7,000 people like in the queue.
I don't know what it is. I feel like part of it is that I've like forgotten how to properly dress myself. So I keep buying things that are just not for me at all. And then I'm like, what the fuck's happening? So I keep buying things and I'm like, why did I even think that was going to be nice?
No, but also we all just have loads of loungewear in it.
Yeah.
Not the like next Rimmel event. Like, why do we have so much? Like, we're gonna really have to make even this. Like, I actually got this. Must have been started the first lockdown. I was just like, I need stuff for Zoom. So I have so many nice tops, but do I have nice pants? Not really, because all of my Zooms like top up. So,
that's my struggle. I've literally ordered like so many different pairs of jeans, and they're all horrendous, by the way. But yeah, like full disclosure, I was in like a massive jumper right before we filmed this, and I was like, I better put a shirt on. So,
and even like I sit around in my dress again sometimes too, and then I'm like, I should get dressed. I go through phases of the lockdowns where I'm like, ugh, and then other days I'm like, no, I want to feel like in the first lockdown. God, it must have been like 3 months in. I was like, oh, I'm gonna put on a pair of jeans today. Like that was like a big deal back then. But I wear jeans.
I was bad for doing that in the first lockdown as well, like getting up and like starting to work in your pajamas, and that's bad. You just feel like, ugh.
Yeah, hopefully life is resuming, which is exciting. But yeah, today's episode, me and Kendra are so excited about it because we're talking about so many different things. But it basically was spurred on by the split of Demi Sims and Francesca Fargo. Now I know we've covered it so much on Goss. Honest to God, I don't have a clue what's going on. I have no idea what the story is. I know Francesca from Too Hot to Handle. I don't even know who Demi Sims is. So lay it down for us, Kendra.
So Demi Sims, she's best known for being in Towie. And it was kind of just such a random pairing. And it happened earlier this year, and people had kind of spotted that they were commenting on each other's photos on Instagram. And then they suddenly were posting things together, that they were on holidays. 3 days later, they said that they were in a relationship, and it was just moving so fast. They got matching tattoos. Like, it was all very much whirlwind whirlwind romance vibes.
Ever should any couple get matching tattoos?
I know.
Like
it's not good. So yeah, they, you know, it was all like posting all over social, blah blah blah. And then earlier this month they announced that they had broken up. And since then, Francesca has been posting kind of cryptic things about her ex-boyfriend, who is very well known, Harry Jowsey from Too Hot to Handle. And there's rumors that they could be getting back together now. So it's all drama. And we love it.
Love it. Oh, I know there's always so many question marks over couples on reality TV. Like, are they a showman? Are they real? A lot of the ones we're going to talk about today, like, honestly wouldn't know. But the fact that her and Harry are being linked literally seconds after she's broken up with Demi, I mean, I have my doubts.
Yeah. But remember that, like, they were such a full-on couple. Like, they were always posting on Instagram and stuff. And then they only broke up, like, I think it was like last June or something. It was around the summer.
I never bought into their romance at all, though, on the show or after the show. Like, there were so many paparazzi setups and stuff afterwards. I just didn't buy into it. And then they broke up and they hadn't actually seen each other for ages or something. Do you remember? I was just like, But we go through like basically our favorite celeb couples over the years from reality TV. So to start us off, I hope this works. Alexa, play. No.
Yeah.
Are we ready? Before Peter Andre and Katie Price got together, this is all we knew of Peter Andre.
Iconic song, to be honest.
Okay, Alexa. Alexa, stop. Had to play that because I was looking into
I didn't know what you were doing there. I thought you were about to play the Hills theme song or something. I was like, what's happening?
So yeah, Peter Andre and Katie Price. Like, this is wild, right? They got together in 2004. Like 2004, so long ago. They both were on I'm a Celebrity. And back then, I'm a Celeb was like the biggest show on television. It was like when Big Brother was huge. Like, if you were on that, you were literally like so instantly famous. So Katie Price was obviously known at the time anyway for being like a page 3 girl, glamour model.
Her name was Jordan. Yeah, her name was Jordan.
And Peter Andre was really not on the scene at all. He was a really random person to put in the jungle. All he had was this. And do you remember he wrote a song while he was in the jungle too? What was the name of it? 1 second, I actually have to look this up.
I'm sure it was an amazing hit.
And like, he actually released it afterwards because Peter Andre and Katie Price, they kind of became like the first kind of celeb reality TV show couple in the UK where they met.
I was just about to say that they're like the first couple that I remember seeing from a reality show, even though, like, when was it? 2006? What is it? No, 2004. So
2004 is when they were on I'm a Celebrity. Sorry,
I was literally 10.
Media, okay, was the name of the song that he wrote in the jungle.
Yeah.
I can't believe you were 10.
I was 10, but I remember watching them on the show and being like, and remember her cornrows, which is 100% cultural appropriation now.
But they like totally fell in love, and then that was kind of the beginning, I feel, of the reality couple, because when they came out, then it was like, okay, Hello magazine spreads. It was like me and Peter. Then they got married. They had 2 children, like Princess and
Junior.
Yeah. And then they got divorced in 2009. So like, it's been obviously a whirlwind since then. He's remarried. I don't even know what to say she's been up to, Kendra.
She's had many a husband. So remember Alex Reid?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes. So she was married to him, and then her third husband was Kieran Hayler. But then she was also like, she's had so many different engagements. Like, remember, she was engaged to that Argentinian model Leandro Pena.
He was gorgeous.
Yeah, he was gorgeous. And also, who else was there?
I mean, now she's reportedly pregnant
and confirmed engaged to Carl Woods, who was actually on Love Island a few years ago, which is gas. Now, I think he was on it for like a hot minute, but he was on Love Island.
Not to see Peter Andre and Katie Price, they're both still really famous. As in, like, he's still written about all the time. He's a new wife now, Emily, you know, the nurse. Or
she's a doctor, yeah.
And he met her when she was quite young, and they've had kids. Like, it's weird that they're both so in the press, but they're just such an iconic. They were there at the right time, right place. Everyone was obsessed with them. They were like the Kim and Kanye of like the UK. Actually, didn't Kim tweet about seeing Katie Price?
Oh my God, yeah. Years ago, I think it was probably around 2009 or something. And she said that she saw Katie and Peter on a flight to LA or something.
I remember they released A Whole New World, that Aladdin song together, Katie Price.
How could I forget?
Like they've just been the most amazing couple to come out of reality TV.
Oh God.
It's so sad that they're gone, but we got new songs, we got music videos, most elaborate wedding, a daughter called Princess. I mean, you couldn't write this.
You couldn't get more iconic than that. And like, I think you're right. They actually did kind of, they almost invented like selling your wedding photos to OK magazine. Like they actually did.
They definitely invented the whole, you know, those photos on the couch by the fire at home with Peter and Katie. And it's
yeah. And I think they were probably one of the first UK celebrity couples to have their own reality show that followed their lives.
Yeah, that's true, actually. It's mad even looking into all the reality couples, because it just makes you think about the progress of reality TV and how, like, at the time it was so rare. Like, there was things like The Hills, I'm a Celeb. Now it's like so hard to make it in reality TV. Like, genuinely, like the most random shows do well. So like Big Brother towards the end really wasn't doing as well, but then like Selling Sunset, like our realtor show, is like one of the biggest shows in the world, and like one of their stars is on Vogue magazine. It's just, you never know like what's gonna work and what isn't. It's wild. Like
it's so wild. I honestly would love Big Brother to come back though. Like, can we please start another petition, one of our many petitions?
For another hate crime that it's not on.
I think it's just, I think now more than ever people are like crying out for something like that.
The Love Island this summer is going to be phenomenal.
Inject that directly into my veins. Like, please.
Inject that in. Like, the thing is too, I think we're all so desperate for any sort of action, like to watch. Like, I just think we're gonna love it, and hopefully they've had like such a long time to find the right people. I really hope there's Irish people in there. Like, I know they've asked so many Irish people to come on, so I just really hope that they get another Mora. Speaking of Love Island, do you want to talk through some of your fave Love Island couples, together still or broken up?
So I think my faves that are still together are Camilla Thurlow and Jamie Jewett. They were on the 2017 series.
I thought they'd make it when I watched that.
I know, and I think they are probably surprised so many people because they were together when the show finished, but everyone was kind of like, they're definitely going to break up, because he came in kind of late. But no, they are very much together. They're now engaged and they had a baby just last year, and they just seem like the nicest couple ever. They do a lot of like humanitarian work and stuff as well. So they're just like cuties. Love them.
Of Love Island.
Oh my God, they actually are. And then another couple I love is Olivia Buckland and Alex Bowen. They were the 2016 series. They're a couple that are still together. Like, I think them and Camilla and Jamie are like one of only a few that are actually properly still together.
Olivia and Camilla, was there any ups and downs in Love Island for them, or were their relationships all smooth sailing?
So the only thing that happened with Olivia and Alex anyway was, remember the whole scandal about him getting with Zara Holland, the former Miss GB?
I didn't watch that series.
Yeah, so I only dipped in and out of that. Because remember, Love Island kind of only really got hugely popular, it was like 2017. So it was kind of the year before. But I remember it being like all over the news about the whole Alex getting with Zara thing. And I think he had only just started kind of cozying up to Olivia as well. So that was the main kind of drama. But aside from that, like,
God, I cannot wait for the drop.
I'm so excited.
Like, you know, where they bring in the villa, or what's the name of the
Casa Amor.
Amor.
Casa Amor.
Would be shook if I, even in like normal life, if I was dating someone and then someone was like, right, we're going to throw you in with all the lads to a house full of beautiful women and you can choose to leave your girl. I'd be like, sorry. Like, nerves I get when they walk back in. Like, do you remember Amber and Michael last year? I was like,
oh my God.
She was like, yeah. I was like, something's going to happen. And he was like,
I think that's probably one of my favorite Love Island moments ever.
Like
where I was actually just watching it being like, like, shit.
Like the ultimate girl boss, as in she was being really cool with him. She was telling him how she felt. Like, she was acting the way women think they should act to men. And Jeremy came back and he's like, yeah, difficult, like I didn't know. And then she was like, you didn't know? I was just like, my mind like blew off.
And everyone was just sitting there like,
I was like, the look on her face.
oh God. I'm so excited.
Were so intense, weren't they? When people like come back and you just don't know. And then the relief, like, do you remember Tommy and Molly when they saw each other and they both hadn't recoupled? That was really cute. That's when I knew they were mad about each other. And there was, she hadn't seen the teddy, or he didn't see the teddy or something on the bed, and he freaked out and it was so emotional.
Tommy and Molly, actually, to be fair to them, they were the most doubted couple, I think, in Love Island history. Everyone was like, she's definitely faking it, like she is not into him. And they're still together, and I think they're like talking about getting married and everything now.
Empire together, and she's had so much hate since she's come out too. But that season was just so massive. Like, look at Maura, like Maura Higgins. It's funny because she was on the scene and trying to get onto the scene for a long time. Like, she was well known in Dublin. She'd had the Bellamy deal before, and a lot of people knew that she was going in. They were like, "Oh, fair play, she's lovely." I don't think anyone expected that she was going to become literally like one of the most iconic people to ever.
Iconic.
Love Island. Do you remember Lena Dunham was tweeting about her, calling her a feminist icon, like after that whole, oh, that's my favorite episode of Love Island ever, the one with Tom.
Oh yeah. What did you say?
Oh, just the way she reacted.
Oh God.
The lads were like, just the way it was edited.
Like, oh shit.
And she's like, am I what? Am I what? I was just like,
so good.
So good. But she also knew, like, she knew where the camera was. Like, let's be fair. Like, she full on.
Oh, yeah.
I have so much respect for her. And then the story with her is mad. So obviously, like, her and Curtis made it to the final, didn't win. And then they broke up about 6 months later. And there were so many rumors at the time in UK tabloids that, like, Love Island couples, basically, if they leave as a couple, they are supposed to stay together for 6 months. So this is like, I don't know, is it a written rule, an unwritten rule? But there's a lot of conversations about it. And her and Curtis literally broke up the day it was 6 months. And there was a piece, I think it was in the Sun, about a really uncomfortable, do you remember this? It was in Simon Boyle's column, uncomfortable moment where like Curtis was like talking down to her and she was really upset, and it was like backstage and no words, and like they really were miserable. It's like that was weird.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's a written rule, but I feel like they're definitely advised to stay with the person. You know, I'd say it was the same with the likes of Amber and Greg. You know, they're told it looks better if you kind of stay together for a while. You might get a few brand deals here and there. But yeah, I for one never really shipped Curtis and Maura. I was like, she could be with someone way cooler than that, to be honest.
Maura knew the game though. It was getting towards the end. Amy and Curtis were breaking up and she was like, now's my time to say that I fancy Curtis. And it was a brilliant move. Like, do you remember the end of that episode? It was like, do you know who I fancy? And it was like a kind
of... The way they edited that was so good.
I don't know, like, I just, since I came in, blah blah, and then it was like a shot to Curtis and everyone was like, oh
like, I just love the way he dances, or like something like that.
I love the way Curtis dances. I actually found Curtis quite annoying on Love Island, and I think the way he talked about Maura and treated her since the show is like an absolute like in my book.
Also, he treated poor Amy like shit.
Oh, poor Amy. God,
poor Amy. She literally left because of him.
That season was so full of up and downs.
So good.
Like, oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah, he wasn't great, and I just don't think he's handled it well. Because even so, obviously now she's with Chris Taylor, which is like my fave.
Okay.
I had found my soulmate when I saw that story come together because I was like, they're just so perfect for each other. I don't know, there was something so heartwarming. She could have easily gone for like a dickhead, like a random big celebrity. I'm sure she's had loads of offers, but the fact that she basically has fallen in love with her best friend,
It's such a sweet story. And remember, it kind of broke, what was it, like the end of November? It was like a Christmas miracle, just in time for Christmas. Oh, it was so cute. And I'd love to know how long it was actually going on for before then, because I'd say like it was a while.
There's a lot of pictures of her, and people kept linking her to Michael Griffiths because he was at all these brunches, but so was people just didn't put two and two together. But yeah, it was basically her birthday. And do you remember like the whole Goss.ie editorial team were like, nah, they're messing. It's not true. Put up something, but then more put it up being like, I've fallen in love with my best friend. And then we're all like, oh,
like, holy shit. Because they had kind of poked fun at the rumors before, like so many times. So we were just so unsure if it actually was for real this time. We were like,
A lot of them lost that season because I remember when Chris even came into the house, they were really friendly, like, weren't they? Even like early.
Yeah.
Oh, I just love this is the thing about Love Island. Like, I know some people don't make it and some people don't get together, but then like now and then, like these couples come out of it and they literally like last for, well, I know not forever because it's only been a few years, but like people are getting married. Like,
I know. Yeah. And I think it's funny because I don't know actually what it is about it, but you know, the Winter Love Island series. Like, is anyone really arsed about any of those people now? Not really.
Is Paige still with your man?
Paige and Finn are still together. But I just feel like there's not as big of a hype around them. And maybe that's largely to do with the fact that the pandemic happened like only a few months after.
But also, like, I know they're talking about Love Island coming back, but they've said that there isn't a winter series already.
Yeah. Like, obviously, we watched it and we loved it, but it just wasn't the same.
And there was no one Irish on it.
Yeah. They need a token Irish person. It's just, it has to happen.
I like Paige, though, and Finn. But yeah, I definitely didn't watch it much. I'd said to you before, like, the season before, the Mora season, like, remember I was, like, on a date, and I was like, yeah. I literally left the date to go home and watch an episode. I was like, I'm not missing this. Like, every night me and Kendra would be at events, like
running home,
minor events. We'd be like, excuse me, and we'd all like, we'd be like, one time we watched it in a taxi.
In a taxi, yeah, we were, because it was starting, we were like, shit.
Like, I feel like it's going to be like that this summer, though. I think it's going to.
I'm so ready for it.
I think they're going to really make it dramatic because we've been gagging for it, like, to come back. I just think.
Oh my God, yeah.
What I find weird too about Love Island are the couples that get together, they're not in the same season. So isn't Lucy Donlan going out with Luke?
Yeah, Lucy Donlan and Luke Mabbitt are going out now, which caused like some massive drama last year as well, because he obviously coupled up with Demi Jones on the winter version of Love Island last year. No one really bought their romance that much when it was on the show, and then I think they only lasted like a few weeks after the show, whatever, they broke up. And then Luke was suddenly linked to Lucy, who was on maybe a year or two before. Oh, it was a year. Yeah. So she was on the same year as Maura. And they were linked. And then Demi kind of started insinuating that he had started seeing Lucy before they had actually broken up. So there was a bit of drama there. I
actually really liked Lucy and Joe. Remember, they were like so mad about each other. And then Tommy like picked her, so she had to be in a couple with Tommy.
But then I forgot about that.
Best season known to man, like, because then Tommy decided to go for Molly, and then Lucy was like, actually it is Tommy. And I was like, there was so many moments. Did you remember she was crying when Tommy picked her because she was so mad about Joe?
Yeah.
And Tommy was like it's a weird little game. Like, even if you're loving the person you're with, someone could be like, I pick you, you're in my couple, like, good luck.
I know, it's actually such a mad concept if you think about it. You're like, I don't want to.
I know there's always a lot of like controversy around it, and mainstream media like to give out about it, kind of being like, it's chauvinistic, it's this. But to be honest, I think it's a fairly fair portrayal of like dating right now, modern dating. Like these are the things that go on. Like Tinder is a game, Bumble is a game. Like you go on, there's people all over the place. People are going on nights out. They're going like this summer is what Kendra keeps saying it's gonna be like hot
girl summer,
wild. But no, I'm so excited to come back, and I love that Laura Whitmore and Ian Sterling are on it together. And it's in a weird way they're kind of like a celebrity couple. I know they're not, but like reality couple. But like I like that they're on the show together. Wherever they're going to film, they're obviously bringing the little girl.
I know. I think that's so cute. I think there's something so like lovely about that they're working on the same show. They'll obviously like bring their daughter with them. I wonder what the daughter's name is. I'd love to know. I bet it's something super cute
or super cool. She's just so cool.
Yeah,
musicians that she likes and the music. We need to figure this out. And then when I was looking into other couples that I loved, I don't have the music on standby, but Hills, obviously, I was obsessed. 2006, so you were 12 by then. Wow. 2006, oh my god, like I was obsessed with the Hills. I had been obsessed with Laguna Beach, and then Elsie was like going out on her own, going to California. I was hooked. So obviously there was a few couples. So first of all, Elsie and Jason. Did you watch the whole of the Hills?
Oh, all of it, yeah. And Laguna Beach. I was obsessed.
I remember Jason was with someone else in Laguna Beach. She was really annoying. I actually hated her. And then he was with Elsie. I'll never forget that episode of like, you'll always be the girl that didn't go to Paris. Because remember, she was like, me and my boyfriend have a condo in Malibu for summer.
And remember, he was such a prick at the time as well. Everyone was like, why are you doing this?
I remember after, because she was like, you'll always be known as the girl that didn't go. And then like years later, Whitney was like, oh, I actually didn't get to go to Paris that time either. So no one went to Paris on that trip. But then they did get to go after. But then remember the season restarted again. And it's like, because it was so different back then. There wasn't really social media. So a year, like, so it was like a summer break. So we didn't even know that her and Jason had like broken up. So then it like goes back and the season starts again. And she's like, yeah, me and Jason hung out for the summer, but we're no longer together. And then she was like crying, dropping off the stuff curbside.
Oh my God, what an iconic scene. And she was just like,
you watched it like Hills Revisited though, about 2 years ago, or was it a year ago? Where, yeah, you did. It was like 2 years ago. Lauren and all them talked about some of the moments.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They showed the footage of that drop-off scene, and she was like, Jason was actually drunk and like, and she was crying, and she's like, we don't have to do this on camera, like blah blah. I was like, God, there was so much going on that like we didn't even know about. Like, I did feel really sorry for her. But then after Jason, I feel like after Jason, Lauren Conrad was like, I'm not doing this anymore in terms of relationships, because the next one was Brody, and then again in the Hills Revisited, basically everyone made out that was a fake romance.
Yeah, and that it was never ever real.
They were never together.
It actually broke my heart because I loved them, and then I was like, right, everything's a lie.
Everything's a lie. And then remember Kristen came back, and then they were together, and then I was like, well, are they? But so Kristen is coming back to the next season of The Hills, which I'm very excited about, and she looks like her old bitchy self, like walking in with her hair.
Love it.
But remember when she did come into the show, and it was like Justin, Bobby, and Audrina, and then Kristen was do you want to go for like a motorbike ride? But like, I don't think that was real either. I don't know, but I'm still obsessed, and I'm still gonna watch it.
Oh, absolutely. And remember, like, Justin and Audrina were definitely real, I think.
Remember the amount of times in a car park? I remember watching in The Hills Revisited, the production team were like, Audrina and Justin would like leave a club, and suddenly there'd be a fight, and they'd have no lighting, so they would turn the lights on the cars just to get them. They'd be outside. She's like, I saw you kissing someone else, and he's like, it's all groovy, baby. Like,
it's all groovy. That is so him.
Always be like, come on, man, it's all good. Like, we're animals and all that. And she'd be like, like he just used to say this with his fucking long hair.
Long hair.
I really fancy him because he looked so like Johnny Depp. I used to always
gorgeous. He still is gorgeous.
But it's weird that like he signed on for it again. So I always thought he was like not into The Hills, and now he's like back in there doing these scripted things. I'm just like, this is weird.
He obviously has nothing fucking better to be doing, like, you know.
He has a band now, but obviously Audrina has moved on, got married, had a baby, but like they're separated now, they're divorced. So like when the show came back, I really thought they might get back together, but it doesn't seem that way, does it?
No, definitely not.
Like, sorry, can we also discuss how Brody signed on with his girlfriend Caitlin Carter / wife, who then broke up and then dated Miley Cyrus?
I know, that was such a plot twist I was not expecting at all.
Like Caitlin Carter, who just moved from Brody Jenner, has been spotted making out with Miley Cyrus. I was like, sorry, did I read that correctly? That was wild.
So wild. And like, considering the fact that Brody Jenner and Liam Hemsworth are like two of the hottest men like in the world, it was just so random, the whole situation. Like I remember writing about it and just being like, what the fuck's going on?
He is actually such a ride. And I told you the last night I was out, I saw every celebrity on earth, G-Eazy, French Montana, and Brody Jenner was DJing.
He's just so stunning.
Yeah, I hope there's some romances in the new season. I feel like it's going to be Brody and Audrina are getting close, and then Christian walks in.
Yeah.
I just love it. Even though if it was in my life, I'd be so sad. But when I see it on TV, I'm like, I can't. But I'll like literally cry like about it. Like I'll get so invested in the couples and everything. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
Obviously, the only couple really that are still together from the hills are Heidi and Spencer, aka
Heidi.
And like, if you had told me to put money on who was going to last, I never would have said Heidi and Spencer. Like, he did not treat her well. Do you remember she like wouldn't see him for a night and he'd be out with Playboy bunnies? Like, it was just like wild. Yeah. He totally, the whole fallout with Elsie was because of Spencer, because he apparently, allegedly, like shared rumors that her and Jason, remember, had made a sex tape, which apparently they never. But like that episode, you know what you did? Like, no, like they've like never spoken again.
I know, like that whole situation is so mad, and to think that Spencer and Heidi are still together, and in fairness to them, they actually have come really full circle. Like they have a child now, his name is Gunnar, and they actually do seem to be quite a nice couple.
They went through wild roller coaster times though, because again, the Hills were like top of the top, biggest show in the world, like almost Friends level of fame, like huge cover of Rolling Stone magazine, like all that sort of stuff. And then remember, after they sold obviously the rights to their wedding, she got so much plastic surgery. Then she did like a huge.
Remember that? She got like 10 different things in one surgery.
Chew. And then her surgeon died, right? And after the surgeon died, she was kind of like, I think I was forced into. She then started being like, maybe I shouldn't have done this, blah blah blah. But then remember, they like did a few things, like they acted like they're getting divorced when they weren't, and then they admitted that they were basically bankrupt and they were trying to get like all these deals because they need the money. Then didn't they go on Celebrity Big Brother?
Oh, like they've been on Celebrity Big Brother like 3 times. And like, I'm not even exaggerating, like they genuinely have been on it like 3 times. So they were on, so they originally went on, God, I can't remember what the first year was, but they were like so controversial, like insanely so. And then they came back for the All-Star series, which was with Jedward.
I remember that. Okay.
And that was so good. And then I am almost certain that they were on another one as well.
In America, maybe
it was in America, but they were also on I'm a Celeb.
Yeah, they have done every reality show known to man, like
every single one, and you gotta respect the hustle, you know.
Somehow found a way to get on Love Island. Like,
yeah, they should. They'll put the son on Love Island when he's old enough.
I know, I actually like following her account. I actually do like her, but it's just I do feel a bit sorry for her. I feel like she got very caught up in like the fame game and like became all about being famous. Whereas for Lauren, it was like the opposite. She like took a step back and like didn't want to be on the show anymore and never talked about her now husband and all that sort of stuff. She went a different route. Now Whitney came back for the Hills reunion, which is interesting. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
She didn't have much going on though.
She didn't, but I think she's actually surprised a lot of people. Actually, a few of my friends have said it to me that they watch her YouTube channel a lot.
Really?
where her and her husband actually do this thing where they react to old The Hills episodes, and apparently it's actually really funny. So yeah, I think she's surprised a lot of people because I think people kind of saw her as kind of a side character, never like.
Her in the city though, like that's where Olivia Palermo came from.
Yeah, that was so good.
Bitch in The Office, like. Oh,
and wasn't Olivia Palermo? She was actually engaged to an Irish guy.
was she?
Don't think they're together anymore. God, I can't remember his name. But yeah, she was.
Absolutely stunning. Like I love her fashion. I don't know if I like her, but that was her character on the city. Like she's probably totally different, but her fashion sense and her style. Oh, The Hills. The Hills.
I can't wait for it to come back.
Can't wait for it to come back. That's soon, right?
Yeah, I think, well, they're filming it at the moment. But they've are like there was some paparazzi shots of Brody and Kristen on a beach looking very cozy while they were filming scenes for the show. So I think that's going to be a huge part of the storyline.
Definitely think it's Brody and Audrina / Brody and Kristen. Like they love a good triangle in The Hills.
Love a good triangle.
Speaking of love triangles, like another show I missed because it was so iconic at the time when these two were on it was Mark Wright and Lauren Budger on Towie. Like, did you watch that like every week back when?
I didn't actually. I don't know why. I only kind of started watching it a few years in. And it was kind of when Lauren and Mark were kind of breaking up.
Oh, right, okay.
So I didn't watch it from the very beginning, but like, God, I remember the scandal.
There's actually a few YouTube like the best moments of Mark and Lauren. It's just wild. Like they were together for 10 years, but he seemed to cheat on her literally every day of the week. Like he'd be like, right, like something would have happened. And she'd be like, we've been together for 10 years. How can you do this? And then I remember it was all these cheating rumors back and forth. And then the season came back after a break and it was like Mark and Lauren are engaged. And everyone was like, oh my God. Because remember he was getting with Sam Frères on the side as well.
And Lucy Mecklenburg.
He was getting with everyone. And then he gave a speech about her at this like party and he started crying and he was like, I love her so much. Well, this is all on YouTube. And Lauren's like, he does love me, blah, blah.
And then everyone's like,
just like break up. And apparently the rumors were that she had cheated in the end in that whole final breakup. But it's mad because obviously he met Michelle Keegan afterwards and they're such a gorgeous couple. I love her. But Lauren just like has never been able to drop it. Like has she? She literally still talks about them. Like she had a column for years and kept mentioning them. Like I've lost count of many times Marcus had to come out on Twitter and be like, stop talking about it.
No. I think like I obviously don't agree with how she's gone about things, but when I was reading up on it, I was actually like, this makes sense because her and Mark were actually dating since they were like 15.
10 years, romance.
So like that's, you know, you understand why like she hasn't really let it go because aside from anything to do with the show, like they obviously were together years before that.
That's why like watching the show is just so hard because like you know like seeing other people and she'd be like, where were you last night? And like then a new girl would walk into a room and Lauren would be like, what? Do you remember the way they used to do it in Towie? And same in Made in Chelsea, where they genuinely don't tell the cast members these things are happening. Like I've heard this from some of the producers that work on the show. So you're like sitting in a restaurant or whatever and there's literally no one talking because you're filming and then this girl walks in and you're like, oh God.
I don't know how I'd be able to handle that. Like my live reactions on screen.
I remember the Lucy Mack episode. She was like, Lauren, can I speak to you? And she was just like, fucking here we go. Like, this is going to be work again. So like, she put herself through hell. Like, I do feel really bad for her. But now she's pregnant with her first child with Katie Price's ex, right?
Yeah, Charles Drury, which is just the most random thing ever. Sorry?
23 and she's 35.
Yeah. So he like randomly had a fling with Katie Price I think it was only like last year. And then like he randomly just started dating Lauren and then yeah, they're having a baby.
She wants her happy after now, doesn't she? She wants her family, she wants to settle down. But yeah, you should look up if you're listening to this and you love Terry, look up the like best moments of Mark and Lauren. It's just wild. And actually before we move on to other people I meant to mention, I always think about Hugo and Millie McIntosh.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, do you remember in the series, didn't she find out that he cheated first?
And she threw a drink in him.
And it was one of the most dramatic, because Made in Chelsea wasn't like that at the time. It was very like, and then she like, she threw it in his face. But then he found out she cheated on him.
And then they broke up.
They're never going to be together. And now it's like, oh my God, they got married in the end. Like, she was with Professor Green, that ended. Like, she married Professor Green, but then found her way back to Hugo. Like, it is kind of a cute story.
Oh my God, it is. And like, they seem so happy and in love now.
I think he always loved her. I think he was always like in love with her.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, that was such a dramatic moment, because Made in Chelsea came out, 2011, which is like the same time that like the likes of Geordie Shore and stuff came out. So like, you know, when you watch Geordie Shore, like what you see is what you get. They're all flinging drinks around at each other.
And like, yeah.
Yeah, and then for something like that to happen on Made in Chelsea, everyone was like, oh my God.
I know, Chelsea is literally like Bridgerton. It's like,
yeah.
Suddenly she was like,
he was like, oh my God.
Was like so dramatic. Like, Spencer was the Mark Wright of that series. Like, Jesus, when he was going out with Louise Thompson, every second I'd be like, yeah, no, I slept with this girl.
And she'd just be like, again.
Why? Like, and then remember Alex Mitten and
Binky.
And they seemed so in love, and then she found out that he had like been at an orgy or something with
as you do on a Tuesday, like.
This is why it's like, and I know people who make reality shows, this is why I know it's so awkward. So like, the production crew will be like, right, there's a picnic tonight or a barbecue or whatever, you're all going to be outside, and then they're just like chatting, and then the producer will be like, Alex, don't you something to tell Binky? And literally everyone's like
what?
He has to say, like, no one knows. Like, it is real in that moment where you're like, oh my gosh. But I think one of the biggest surprises in like reality TV UK history anyway is Mark turning around and becoming this monogamous, like totally in love with Michelle, but also Spencer, like turning around his whole life, not drinking anymore, not partying. He's with Vogue Williams, who we love. I was thinking about this earlier on because they met on The Jump, which was a skiing reality show where Vogue literally all but broke every bone in her body. Do you remember?
Oh God, yeah.
She was hosting the Gossies that year for us, and we flew her over from set of The Jump. And I remember her saying to us that like there was stuff going on with Spencer and she wasn't sure and blah blah blah. And then now I'm like, oh my God, like you've 2 kids together, married. He's like changed his life around. He's so in love with her. It's mad how people can like totally just change.
I know, because I think, yeah, because they started filming that in like January 2017, and then the Gossies would have been the end of that month. And I remember when she was doing the red carpet and stuff, people were asking her like, oh, is there any like romance on the horizon? Because she was on the show with like Spencer, Jake Quickenden, so there was like some options there for her. And I remember at the time she was like, oh, I don't know, like blah blah, but obviously behind the scenes there was something going on.
But she like obviously had divorced from Brian McFadden. I don't think she was actually looking for anything. I genuinely think they were really good mates. They met on The Jump. They were really good friends, and it just kind of blossomed from there. But yeah, so I technically count them as a reality TV romance because they met on The Jump. What other couples do you have that are your fave?
My fave, like Justin. Oh yeah, I wanted to actually mention this because I know I was saying before that Katie Price and Peter Andre are like one of my first reality couples that I remember. But do you remember? It was 2006. So I was literally 12. I probably shouldn't have been watching it. But Celebrity Love Island, the very first series, and it was a celebrity version, Callum Best and Bianca Gascoigne.
Oh my God, yes. They
so iconic.
And it was hosted by Fern Cotton, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Long, blonde, crimpy hair. Oh my God, sorry, that series.
And I don't know why, but they only did one series of that. And then Love Island obviously came back like years later. But it was the most iconic show ever.
ever. They should
So
do.
good.
Actually, I like when we were talking about how like Heidi and Spencer have been on like every reality show. So is Colin Best, to be fair.
No, like, and that's not even an exaggeration. He fucking has. Like, he's been on every single one.
Actually, really nice. Like, I've been out with him a few times. He's actually like a lovely, lovely guy. He has his way with the ladies, all right, but he's actually a really nice person. Like, he's sound out, but God, yeah, he's not. He still hasn't found love, has he not? I don't know why he's up to these days.
I don't think so. I think the last thing he was on was Celebrity X on the Beach. That actually was a really good season. I randomly watched it. I don't usually watch X on the Beach, but I randomly watched it. But yeah, he has literally been on every single show ever.
Callum and Bianca Gascoigne.
They didn't last long, but on the show, it was one of the first kind of reality show romances I can remember, and being like, oh my God, this is like so like scandalous, and oh my God, it was just so good.
And sorry, like, let's hit home to Ireland for a second here. Colin Best and George's Salva, when they were Celebrity Salon, like,
bring back Celebrity Salon.
Bring it back.
It's
such a drama. Like, she had just broken up with her boyfriend. He was like the bad boy brought in for a bit of fun on the show, and they literally just fell madly in love with each other, and everyone thought it was a showmance. I remember at the time, because I was working in newspaper, and I remember everyone was like, it's not real, blah blah, but I was like talking to the producers, and they were like, these guys are like in love with each other. And then, do you remember, it all ended because he was photographed outside Donna, what's her name, the one that was going out with James Middleton, Donna Ayres' apartment in London after a night out, like 3 a.m, and they were both trying to hide. They were going in. So then Georgia broke up with him,
and
then
he was with Donna Ayres.
Well, I don't know. He's pictured it. Yeah, they were standing outside together, and
they got the scandal.
Donna went on to date James Middleton. I was like, sorry, like that's a bit of a step up.
Oh, poor Colin.
Hiding from the paparazzi is what I mean.
Oh my God.
That was wild. But yeah, they broke up after that. But God, that was like, they got serious spreads here and the UK, holidays abroad. Like, this is all before influencers were a thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was no Instagram couple in the Maldives. It was Georgia and Callum in OK magazine.
Yeah.
Gone off to Ibiza for the weekend.
What a time. And that was around the time of like Fade Street as well. Like, remember, like, let's just think of some of the Fade Street couples, like Paul and Danny. Remember when he pushed your man on oxygen?
Paul, go back to Exeter. Oh my God. No, actually, that was like so funny when you think that that's how Vogue started. So Vogue was on Fade Street.
Yeah.
When Callum Best was on Celebrity Salon, this all happened at the same time. Louise Johnson had to come on from Fade Street. I think Louise and Vogue both got to go into the salon to get their hair done. That was like one of the tasks.
Yeah.
So Callum's good mate, Ryan McFadden, was in town. So they all went out together. That's how they met.
Okay, this is, oh my God, this is so crazy, isn't it? How you can connect the dots.
And the same producers of each show. But like, iconic moments. That's the first time her and Brian met. And she had just been in a relationship as well. So like, God, those were the golden years of Dublin and the UK. Like, it was just different times. Like, I don't know, it doesn't feel the same.
No, it's definitely not. And back then, there, like, the paparazzi scene in Ireland would have been like way more of a thing. Like, people were getting photographed coming out of Lily's, coming out of Crystal,
coming out of hair salons on the street. Like,
yeah, doesn't really happen like that anymore.
You'd miss the OG Celebrity.
Yeah.
The original.
Yeah.
We got through a lot. I think we got through a lot, like, of the main couples. Is there anyone else you want to add in?
Let me like have a look here now. There was definitely some.
I know the Danny Dyer, Jack Finch one, but I know we talked about Love Island already, but just touching back on Love Island, I know they took it out because it was causing like severe mental health issues, but I just loved the lie detector test because
oh my God, yeah,
the the drama like that used to cause. And I remember the Danny and Jack one, because it's like, are you just with Danny because of her famous dad? And he was like, no. And then it was like,
yeah. Sorry, you'd swear Danny Dyer, like the actual actor, her dad was like freaking Brad Pitt or something, like, you know, just Danny Dyer.
In the UK, he's probably like, I don't know, like, what's the equivalent here? He's obviously just such a big star over there.
Yeah.
Not just EastEnders, like obviously he was in loads of things.
Yeah, I know. But like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's so fucking Brad Pitt.
Oh God, like I know, I think, remember they started to make changes to make sure that everyone's mental health was in a better place. And they took the lie detector test out because they thought it caused
too much, yeah, emotional stress.
You just watch it being like, no. Or like, if you weren't with such and such, would you be with the other person? Be like, no, baby. And then it was like, I used to love it.
Oh
God.
Also, one thing I actually, and I know it's technically bad, but you know the way in Love Island, it's only the past 2 years they don't let them smoke on camera anymore. Yeah. But so much of the drama used to happen kind of in the smoking area when everyone was there having cigarettes. So I feel like that's kind of missed in a way.
Anyone used to sneak out the front door for like a fag.
Yeah.
But this is the interesting thing about Love Island too. You know the way they're allowed to have a day off and they all eat together, but they're not allowed to talk about the show. But like a lot of previous stars have come out saying that like you'd see a lot of flirtations, and sometimes that's why when the show would restart, there'd be kind of tension between people because they might have been really flirty with someone. Or because you remember when, who was it? What was the other iconic fight? Anna and
Jordan.
Didn't they say later on that it's because Jordan started suddenly getting the feels for someone else, and everyone's like,
India.
Yeah. And everyone's like, this is so left field. But then afterwards people were saying, we're like, no, on the day off they were like getting very that confrontation was that year is iconic. Remember the drama of that fight? Like he was talking in front of her to India. It was like, bye, not even like silently taking her across. He's like, can I bring her for a chat? She was like, sorry, you're bringing her for fucking chat in front of me.
That actually, yeah, if you think about it, so many things happened in that season. Like the producers better have some good people lined up.
I'd say the producers couldn't believe their luck when this stuff started happening. Like first Maura and Tom, then like Amy deciding to leave, then Curtis and Maura getting together, then like Amber, and then Greg coming in. Like I actually do love Greg, I have to say. I think he was such a good winner, and I think he did come in and he was so nice to Amber and he did the job and it was really sweet. But like he got a bit of a fair bad like slagging off, I think, when that all ended, do you know?
He did, yeah. The way all that remember how that went down when it came out. Was like it came out that he had like apparently dumped her over text, and it was right before they were about to go on the Late Late Show together. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she had dropped out. It was so dramatic.
We went to the launch of Maura's Boohoo range and Amber showed up and we were like, oh my God. And Greg was like around the corner. He was meant to be coming to that party.
Yeah.
We were all like, is this gonna kick off? It didn't, obviously, but I feel sorry for Amber. I think she was just like really annoyed how it all went down, but I don't think he deserves the like hate.
Oh God, no.
He did an interview with me last summer and he said that, was it hashtag cancel Greg was trending on Twitter, and like he lost like,
or like unfollow Greg or something. I think he lost like 500,000 followers or something.
Yeah, I think he's a really nice guy, and like over the last year he's done really nice things. He's been great during the pandemic, and he hasn't come out and flogged himself to like every magazine or show. Like he's kind of cultivating himself as a TV presenter, as a radio host. I think he's actually done quite a good job with it because it's such a huge platform. To be on the show is one thing, but to like win it and to be known as one of the winners, I think he's one of the kind of, is there any winners that are actually still together that won it?
I actually don't think so, apart from Finn and yeah.
I wonder, is there like, a lot of people must feel that Tommy and Molly should have won.
Yeah, I think people do.
People just didn't like her towards the end. I feel bad for her. They just kind of went against her and just didn't believe her. I think that's what happened. Like the public were like, it's not.
I think people kind of had a perception of her from the get-go because she was an influencer.
But remember as well, to be fair, she didn't really want Tommy for ages. She was kind of playing around with him. When the new guy came in, she was talking to him. It wasn't until he fancied Maura.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So even I was a bit like, does she actually like him? Or is it just he was getting taken away from her, so she liked him? But
and it's so funny to see the fact that like Maura is like best friends with her and Tommy now, considering how that all started out.
They still get asked it all the time in like Instagram Q&As, like, how are you guys all friends now? The more dramatic triangle in that situation was the way Lucy Donald kept trying to be like, Tommy, like, I just think, and everyone was like,
Lucy, fuck off, like, stop.
Interesting you. She was a wild character.
Yeah.
Such a good year. I can't wait for it to come back. This has turned into like a Love Island podcast.
I know, and I wanted to mention, I have to mention this reality star couple because I feel like it's one of the OGs, Nick Lachey and Jessica Simpson. Sorry, first of all, Netflix, Amazon, can someone please put Newlyweds on a streaming platform, because I need to watch that.
Have they blocked the rights or something? Because it's an MTV show, but like, I wonder, did they just not want it to be out?
That's what I was thinking, because I was like, how? Because it was such a popular show. People would definitely rewatch it now. I feel like something was done to make sure it never fucking saw the light of day ever again.
Lots of problems in their marriage though. Like, they properly went into it in the show. You could tell like that marriage was like not built for that.
Oh, like you pretty much watched their marriage deteriorate throughout the show. It was so bad, but oh my god, such an iconic couple.
Remember Ashley Simpson's show?
Oh yeah, I actually loved her music.
I loved her music. Like
what was that song?
Living in the Shadow.
I don't know if it's that one.
Yeah, her main one was In the Shadow, living in the shadow of someone else's dream. Do you remember? It was all like Jessica.
And like she was like punk rocker vibes.
She was so cool. And like the younger sister, yeah, God, I loved that. I would love to watch Newlyweds again. That was such a weird thing, because I always talk about this whenever I talk with celeb couples. It's so weird because they had like broken up. They were like, it's not going to work. And then 9/11 happened, and she literally rang him and was like, we need to just be together. Like, she just said she realized in that moment, like, God, like, brought them together. And it didn't. God didn't.
I really want to read her book, actually. Apparently it's so good.
The newly released.
Yeah, so she released a biography like last year. And apparently it's really good. She goes into like so much about what happened with her and Nick. And like, she's had a lot of famous romances. She was with John Mayer for ages.
Remember, he called her sexual.
He said something weird about her anyway.
She's the sexual version of ecstasy. That like.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because God, John Mayer, Katy Perry, Jennifer Aniston, Jessica Simpson, like, sorry.
Taylor Swift. He's literally been with everyone.
I mean, I definitely would.
Oh my god, you would, yeah.
Like, I always
remember we went to his concert.
I always fancied him, and then we got brought to his concert. I was like, oh, you're grand. And then I was literally like, married.
We were obsessed.
I still have him on my Spotify playlist. Just the way he sings and he smiles. Oh, like you would. Like, you definitely.
Oh, you would. Also, I have to give a shout out to, I know you didn't really watch Jersey Shore that much, but I was a Jersey Shore gal.
Never even watched one episode.
Oh my god, it's so good. Even I would watch it back now and it's still just so good. But we cannot talk about reality couples without talking about Ronnie and Sammy from Jersey Shore. Ron! She'd be like, Ron, stop!
Show is so wild though. Like, I never watched it. All I would see are clips of people literally just riding in the bedroom, like California-esque. Like,
it's the same as like with Geordie Shore. Like, looking back, there's a lot of stuff that went on that would definitely not fly now, like, at all.
Remember, was it Montana Brown came out and said she was riding all around the Love Island villa, and like, they never showed it. So like, the producer making a conscious decision to, number one, not air it, but also to delete the footage, because surely it would have been leaked, you know.
It's just, yeah, I think the obviously not the rules, but like, I don't know, things were just so different.
Also mental health again. I mean, to be fair, 2 of their past contestants have taken their own life. Caroline Flack took her own life. I think they know they have to be not seen to cause any extra anguish. So I do get it. I think it's the right decision to make. I don't think we need to be watching people riding in the bathroom. Like, do you know what I mean?
No. But like, even looking back at the Ronnie and Sammy stuff, like there was so much stuff that was shown. You were literally watching like an emotionally abusive relationship. It was horrendous.
Are they still together though?
No. They broke up. So the show ended in like 2012. And I think they kind of stayed together. They didn't break up properly until like 2016. So they did kind of stay together. And like Ronnie has had a lot of shit with the law lately. Like, you know, he had a daughter with this model called Jen Harley, and there was a domestic violence case against him. And then just last week, so he's since split up with that girl, and just last week he was arrested for a domestic violence incident again involving someone else. So yeah, it's not good. But like, just thinking back to the amount of stuff that was shown between him and Sammy, like, I'm so shocked that they were even allowed to share any of that.
But even, do you remember I was saying to you when you started watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I was like, they're allowed to get drunk in it all the time. Because obviously Love Island, we don't see people getting drunk anymore.
Yeah.
You see why though, because some of the stuff that happens in the Real Housewives, they're so drunk, they're out of it. Like, my mental health could not sustain, like, if I was on a show and I was locked and I called someone a bitch and I like broke up with my boyfriend, if I had to watch that on national television, I would like change my hair, change my name, leave the country.
Could you imagine how wild Love Island would be if they were allowed to drink like a lot? It would be super bad. So they're only allowed 2 drinks every night. I'd say you'd become like such a lightweight in there.
Yeah, you come out in the leaving party, like, I'd love to know what goes down on like the wrap party. I'd say.
Oh my god, I'd say they all just get absolutely hammered. But I remember actually, and it's like such a classic Irish person thing to do, but remember during Maura's season, and they were walking down the stairs at one point and Molly fell over and she spilled her glass of wine, and Maura was like, what are you doing wasting the wine for?
He's like,
such an Irish person thing to say.
Wine. Oh, I'm so excited for it to come back.
I really cannot wait.
And I hope that we get more couples out of it. More couples to divulge on, to look at, to criticize.
There is nothing like a reality show couple, because you like watch their actual romance progress.
Yeah. I really hope Amy actually finds someone, Amy Hart. It's made me sad rethinking about that situation. Do you remember like Curtis was like her first boyfriend?
I know. And then he was like, right, piss off.
Yeah. Like, what an entry into, because remember she was saying to the girls, she did take it too far though, like literally 5 days in, she was like, I mean, he's gonna meet my parents and like he's gonna be the father of my kids, and everyone was like, all right, like
calm down.
Still. But like,
I just love that clip where she's like, I was coming back here to tell you I loved you, and he's just like
like, well, thank God you didn't. Like, what would have happened? But you remember they became like such an old couple within a few days. They were sitting on their own, and then she was like, well, he's like, I make coffee at 7 a.m. I like it.
He was like, I'm the type of person that likes to make coffees for him. Like, good for you.
They were doomed from day 2. Like, I didn't say day 1 because I actually think they were cute day 1, but like after that I was like, no.
Yeah.
Look, we should leave it there. They'll be back next week, and I think we should leave it with Alexa, play. Are you ready? I think we need to end this way. Like, we were dying for a night up.
I never thought we would be singing this on the podcast.
See you next week, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Live from the red carpet.
The moment you've all been waiting for.
You what? Well, that hit the spot.